Welcome back to Real Estate 101. I'm your host, Joe Terceira. And today we're going to talk a little bit about real estate law, and I'm pleased to be joined by Mark Weisleder of Real Property Transactions. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure being here.
So Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. I am a real estate lawyer. I have been practicing law for the last 29 years, trying to get it right.
Right.
And I've acted both in very large firms as a partner. I was the head lawyer at Bell Mobility for 12 years. I'm responsible for every ugly cell phone tower in Southern Ontario. And I've been a guest real estate expert on television, and I write a real estate column in the Toronto Star every Monday about real estate. I try to offer practical advice to buyers and sellers. And I've written books for home buyers and sellers, as well as landlords who are renting out properties.
Okay, and you want to tell us a little bit about those books?
I'm proud of my books. I wrote the book for home buyers. It's everything, it's called Put the Pen Down.
Right,
and it's it's about everything a home buyer needs to know before they sign on the dotted line. So as an example, I have an explanation of every clause in the agreement of purchase and sale, what it means, the whole home inspection process, the financing condition, surveys, everything you need to know. And it's funny, I wrote it for buyers and sellers, and yet it's one of the top sellers at the Toronto Real Estate Board bookstore for real estate agents. So it's obvious they need a little bit of help too. And there isn't very much in the way of books for landlords on how to properly qualify tenants, on how to properly lease a property. And so I developed a guide for Ontario landlords that is sort of like a how-to. Make sure you find the right tenant and then do a proper lease and be protected. So I'm very proud of both of the books and how well they've done in the market.
All right. So now you're with Real Property Transactions, which I think is an extremely fabulous service. Not many people know much of it, about it. And I had the chance to get familiar with you and Real Property about 6 months ago. So what's your role there?
Well, I am the lead lawyer. And in all real estate transactions, I supervise every file. I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen, almost everything there is to see in a real estate deal.
Right.
And I've also seen how deals are processed, both at major law firms and even small firms. And I am so impressed with the way that Real Property has developed an automated system so that nothing ever falls through the cracks, that we can do a real estate deal from start to finish and everything gets covered. Everyone is informed, and buyers and sellers are completely protected.
Okay, so why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about what Real Property does and how their closings work?
Well, so in other words, what I love the most is, people always ask, what do you charge to do a real estate deal if you act for a buyer and a seller? And when you speak to law firms, they'll give you quotes that are all over the place. We charge $850 plus.
Plus,
But they don't tell you what the plus is. And then you walk in on closing and you see all the pluses and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. With us, I say go to the website. It's called realproperty.ca. Couldn't be easier. And there's a quotation calculator right there. All you have to do is put in the price of your home, whether it's a new home, resale, condominium, etc., whether you got a mortgage that we have to process.
Right.
Press a button and you get a quote with HST, all the disbursements. That's the amount to the penny, whether you're buying or selling a home, that you're going to pay to Real Property with my supervision of the file. And most people who go there, they're absolutely amazed because they never get a clear answer. And that's what I like about One of the things I like about Real Property, it's transparent, it's honest, and the client knows exactly what they're getting. And so whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's the same file, the same papers, but you know exactly what you're getting right from the start.
Okay. So what are the benefits of using Real Property Services as a buyer?
Well, number one, there's the price. You know, based on I have never had a buyer who's taken a quote off our website able to match it or get
Somewhere
a lower
else.
quote elsewhere. So from a
Right.
price standpoint, you're going to get an excellent deal. Number two, Real Property is very good in following up mortgage instructions. You know, people go to mortgage brokers and they just assume everything's going to happen. It doesn't happen.
Right.
A lot of times
There's
things
a lot of
fall through the
homework and
cracks.
behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, and Real Property, because of the way the files are set up, there's constant communication with the lender, the mortgage broker. Nothing falls through the cracks. Deals close on time. So when you're a buyer, there's a lot happening. You got to get your insurance set up. And Real Property's on top of all this. So they're always telling you well before closing, this is what you're going to have to do so your closing runs smoothly. And you know, buying a home is one of the most stressful things you're going to do. So Real Property makes that process easy for you. And so if you're a buyer, that's really important.
Okay. And what about as a seller? What are the benefits as a seller?
Well, again, as well, one of the first things they do is they're immediately after the mortgage statement. You know, they want to make sure that as a seller, you haven't made a
discharged.
mistake,
Yeah.
that we have enough time to get the discharge of the mortgage, and more importantly, there's enough money.
Right.
Now, we've had some situations, because we're so quick, we have found that there isn't enough money to pay the mortgage and close the deal. Now, normally, it's a disaster. Deals don't close, lawsuits start
Left, right,
crazy.
center,
But
yeah.
because we find out quickly, we go to the bank and we say, we got to work this out. And we're able to make a deal with them where we can close the deal. The seller may owe a little bit of money for the next couple of years, but they get out with their credit intact. They don't lose their credit. They don't have to go bankrupt. The deal closes and everybody's happy. So even for a seller, you know, there is wonderful comfort in knowing that your file is going to be processed quickly and efficiently.
Okay. So let's get to the bones of this, which I really think, again, is you know, the key to everything you guys are doing there. Why don't you tell our viewers about your home closing program?
Well, here is where we're very excited. You know, one of the complaints people have is that they always say, where's your office? You know, where's your office?
Right.
You know, I got to go to your office, I got to pay parking. What do I do? So I say,
Right.
look, number one, we have offices in Brampton and Toronto. So if you want to come to an office, we have a place to come to. You don't have to pay for parking. But let's say it's more convenient for you, for us to come to you, to your home. We'll send somebody to sign up the papers in your home, or perhaps at the local real estate office if you're more comfortable there. So we do what's convenient for the client. So that's the first part that makes people very happy. And that
Right.
we demystify it and we say, we're going to send somebody to you if that's what you prefer. And also, we're aware for sellers and buyers that a lot of unexpected things can happen with a real estate deal. So as an example, if you're a seller and you bought a house, you need this money from your sale to close that purchase. What happens if your buyer can't close? You've got to carry two houses.
Right.
It's a nightmare.
You need to bridge it.
It's a nightmare, and it happens at the last minute. What we have is, in our fee structure, if you take our home closing package and you're a seller, for an extra $50, if that happens to you, the buyer can't close a deal, you're covered for up to $25,000 in costs to pay all those extra interest, carrying charges. You get out alive. And this is just because we know that as a seller, you need this comfort. And then on the buyer side, what happens after closing? Plumbing breakdowns, electrical breakdowns, appliance breakdowns. This is a problem everyone has. And so we have a special warranty program, an extended warranty program that you can purchase when you buy our packages that will cover you for up to 1 year after closing, all your appliances, your electrical, plumbing, air conditioner, furnace. And so 1-800 number, you've got a problem, and somebody comes and helps you. And we've had so many buyers, so grateful for this, because this is the one part of a real estate deal, no seller is ever guaranteeing this
Right.
after closing. It breaks down 2 days later,
It is
you're
what
on
it
your
is.
own.
Yeah.
And so buyers need this. So you see, this is why I'm excited, because Real Property, not only do they offer my services as the supervising lawyer, so that if any problems happen, you have my almost 30 years of experience dealing with it, but also we look after you from the minute you walk in the door We even look after you close the
Absolutely.
deal. So you see, it's an entire package, and that's why I'm so excited to be part of it, because the reception, the response has been terrific. And so, that's really, in a nutshell, the benefits that I see real property bringing to buyers, sellers, refinancing your mortgage, or anything to do with a real estate deal.
transaction, right. So Mark, tell me, what are your areas of service? Which areas do you cover?
Well, our specialty is real estate. Any kind of real estate transaction, doesn't matter what you're buying, residential, commercial, any kind of real estate, we can handle it, any refinancing, any real estate matter. Now, if you need wills, estates, incorporations, we could do that for you as well, but primarily
Real estate.
it's real estate. That's what we really are priding ourselves. We specialize in it, and we look after people.
All right. So for today's final question, if someone's interested in your service or wants more information, how can they get in contact with Real Property?
Well, the easiest way, realproperty.ca. The telephone number, 905-454-5411, an easy way. And if anybody wants to pick up my books, they can go. I have another website, which is just my name, markweisletter.com, and you can easily pick up my books there if they're interested.
All right, Mark, thanks very much for coming on today's show. Looking forward to seeing you again next month when we continue our discussion about everything real estate law.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's a pleasure being here.
If anybody has any more questions or would like more information in regards to real estate closings, they can get in contact with Mark Weisleder at Real Property Transactions. I'm your host, Joe Terceira. We'll see you next time.